They begged for forgiveness at my door, tears streaming, voices breaking. But all I could feel was emptiness as I shut them out forever. I don't know if that makes me free, or damned. It was supposed to be just another family Christmas. Same routine as every year. My parents had invited the whole family over, and even though I wasn't thrilled, we went. Because sometimes, with family, you just go through the motions. So my wife Jenna and I packed up the kids, Emma, who's 6, and Ryan, 8, and made the drive over. When we walked in, everything looked picture perfect. The house was decked out in lights, the smell of pine and cinnamon in the air, Christmas music humming in the background. My parents really had gone all out. For a moment, I almost let myself believe this year might be different. Kids were running around in excitement, cousins catching up, uncles laughing too loud with glasses of wine. My older sister Amanda was there with her kids, and so were all the cousins, aunts, uncles, the whole crew. And then came the gift exchange. Emma was bouncing on her toes, her little face lit up with pure wonder. She still believed in the magic of it all. I caught myself smiling just watching her eyes widen as each cousin tore into shiny wrapping paper. Amanda's kids unwrapped brand new tablets. Another cousin's kids got bikes, video games, even a drone. One of my uncles got a sleek watch. Gift after gift after gift, the room buzzing with joy. Then, silence. Jenna and I waited. Emma and Ryan waited. But nothing came. Emma's smile wavered. She looked around, confusion clouding her big eyes. Daddy, where's ours? Ryan whispered, his little voice tight, trying to sound tough but failing. That moment? It felt like someone punched me in the chest. I turned to my mom, forcing a light laugh. Hey, did you forget Emma and Ryan's gifts or something? She folded her arms, her expression cold. We didn't forget, she said flatly. We didn't get them anything. We don't welcome them. I froze. The room spun. Excuse me? My voice cracked before I steadied it. What do you mean you don't welcome them? Her eyes were like stone. They're just like you. Ungrateful. Entitled. Emma's face crumpled. Tears welled up and spilled before Jenna could pull her close and whisper into her hair, trying desperately to soothe her. Ryan's lip trembled. He wanted to cry, I could see it, but he clenched his fists, trying to be brave for his sister. And around us? Silence. Heavy. Crushing. Amanda looked away, pretending she hadn't heard. My cousins glanced at each other but stayed quiet. Not a single person stood up for us. It was like they all expected this, like it was just another episode in the family drama no one wanted to touch. Jenna squeezed my arm and whispered, Steve, let's just go. It's not worth it. Every part of me wanted to explode. To scream. To demand how they could humiliate my children like that. But I didn't. Somehow, I kept it together. I looked my mother dead in the eye and said, slowly, okay. We're leaving. We bundled up the kids, grabbed our coats, and walked out. The door slammed behind us, the echo ringing down the quiet street like a gunshot. The drive home was torture. Emma sniffled in the back seat, asking through tears, why don't Grandma and Grandpa love us? Ryan just sat there, staring out the window, silent. How do you even answer that? My hands gripped the steering wheel until my knuckles went white. My parents had hurt me in plenty of ways before, but this was different. They hadn't just disrespected me, they broke my children's hearts. And all I could think about was the months leading up to this. The endless demands. They wanted me to buy them a brand new house because apparently their current one wasn't good enough. I told them no, but I still agreed to pay for major renovations. New plumbing, new electrical, entire walls rebuilt. I'd already sunk $21,000 into that house, and it wasn't even finished. But of course, it wasn't enough. It never was. I clenched the steering wheel tighter. If they wanted to cut my kids out, then fine. Let them fix their own damn house. Come New Year's, I was pulling the plug on everything. Because this wasn't over. The morning after that Christmas disaster, I woke up still burning with anger. Jenna and the kids were curled up asleep, but me? I couldn't close my eyes. All I kept hearing was Emma's tiny voice breaking in the back seat, why don't they love me? It was like a knife twisting deeper every time I replayed it. I couldn't sit there and stew. I had to do something. So I grabbed my phone, scrolled to Frank, the contractor in charge of my parents' renovations, and hit call. He picked up groggily. Hey, Steve, what's up? I'm canceling the project, I said, my voice cold. Tell your crew they're done after New Year's. Silence. Then a cautious, are you sure about that? Your parents are not going to be happy. Let them call me, I snapped. And I hung up. For the first time in days, I felt a flicker of control again. Like I'd finally drawn a line in the sand. But that feeling didn't last long. Around noon, my phone lit up. Amanda called first, I let it go straight to voicemail. Then my dad. Same thing. Finally, my mother's name flashed across the screen. Against my better judgment, I answered. You're canceling the renovation? She barked, skipping any greeting. You heard me, I said flatly. I'm done. She launched into a tirade so fast I could barely get a word in. Do you have any idea how irresponsible and selfish this is? The entire second floor is torn apart. How can you just leave us like this? I leaned back in my chair, unfazed. Maybe you should have thought about that before humiliating my children in front of everyone. You crossed a line, Mom. I'm not bending over backward anymore. Stop being so dramatic, she shot back. Your kids need to learn they don't get rewarded for bad behavior. Just like you. I actually laughed, sharp and bitter. Right, teaching them a lesson by crushing them on Christmas morning? Real classy. Goodbye, Mom. And I hung up. That night, I wasn't expecting visitors, but Amanda showed up at my door. She didn't even wait for an invitation, just pushed inside, arms crossed. "You can't just leave them like that, Steve," she said. I sighed. "Oh, here we go. Let me guess, you're here to tell me to give in." "I'm here because they're panicking," she shot back. "The second floor is unlivable, and they don't know what to do." "Not my problem," I said flatly. "You saw what they did to Emma and Ryan. They crossed the line." Amanda hesitated, then tried the classic excuse. "Look, I know it was harsh, but that's just Mom. She doesn't mean half the things she says." "Not good enough," I cut her off. "They're your parents too, Amanda, but you're the golden child. They bailed you out during your divorce. Me? All I ever get are demands, insults, and guilt trips. I've already paid over 20 grand into those renovations, and they still act like I owe them more." She sighed. "They're set in their ways. Steve, you have to be the bigger person." I stared at her. "I'm done being the bigger person." My voice was steady, final. We locked eyes in silence before she finally gave up, shook her head, and walked out. A few days later, I got a call that surprised me. Chris, one of my cousins. "Hey, man, I heard about what happened," he said. "That was seriously messed up, what they did to your kids." I blinked. "Wait, you're taking my side?" "Of course. I don't blame you for cutting them off. They've been pulling this crap for years. My mom said your parents think you still owe them for everything they did when you were younger, but dude, you've already paid that debt, and then some." For the first time, I felt something shift. Validation. I wasn't crazy. And Chris wasn't the only one. Over the next few days, 3 more cousins reached out, all saying the same thing. Apparently my parents had been gossiping about me for a while, but not everyone was buying their version of events. Then Amanda stirred the pot again. This time, she dragged in aunts and uncles, turning it into a full-blown family debate. Half the family said I was right for standing my ground. The other half, mostly the ones who benefited most from my parents' good graces, called me vindictive. The pressure was building. The lines were being drawn. And one thing was becoming painfully clear: this wasn't just a family spat anymore. It was war. It didn't take long for my parents to crank things up. A few days after Amanda's visit, my phone lit up with my dad's name. For a second, just a second, I thought maybe he was calling to apologize. Maybe there was still some shred of decency left in him. But I was wrong. "We need to talk," he said, his voice cold, almost rehearsed. "About what?" I asked, though deep down I already knew. "The renovations. You can't just leave us like this. We need you to get things back on track." I sighed, pinching the bridge of my nose. "I already told Mom, I'm done. Hire someone else." He didn't raise his voice. Didn't argue. He just stayed calm. Too calm. "If you go through with this, there will be consequences, Steve." "Consequences?" I repeated, my voice dripping disbelief. "Yes," he said firmly. "You think you can disrespect your family like this without consequences? Fine. If you're not going to take responsibility, then we won't be part of your life anymore. That includes Emma and Ryan." For a few seconds, I was speechless. My own father, threatening to disown his grandchildren. Over money. "That's your play?" I finally said, my voice dangerously quiet. "You're going to punish 2 innocent children to get back at me? You think that'll scare me into backing down?" "It's not a threat, Steve," he replied, ice in his tone. "It's reality. We're rewriting the will. You and your kids won't get a dime from this family." I couldn't help it, I laughed, bitter and sharp. "So that's what this is about? Money? You think I care about your will? I'm the one paying for everything, your house, your renovations. What do you think I want from you?" "You'll regret this," he said flatly, and then he hung up. That was it. That was the last straw. If they wanted war, fine. I was ready. The next morning, I made my move. Years ago, I'd opened a joint account to help my parents manage their bills. Over time, I'd put a lot of my own money into it, money they treated like it was theirs. Well, not anymore. I logged in, transferred every last cent into my personal account, and closed it. Just like that. It wasn't impulsive. That money was mine, and I wasn't going to let them use it as a weapon against me. And sure enough, within hours, the fallout began. My mother called, her voice frantic, not cold, not angry, but desperate. "Steve, what did you do?" "I took my money back," I said, matter of fact. "You can't just take it all. That account was for the family." "No, Mom," I corrected her, my voice steady. "That account was my money. I opened it to help you. But I'm done being your bank. You wanted me out of your life? Congratulations. Now you're on your own." She stammered, scrambling for excuses. "You don't understand, we have bills to pay, the contractors." "Not my problem," I cut in. "Figure it out." And I hung up. Not long after, Amanda called again. "Steve, you're making this worse," she said immediately. "Mom's crying, Dad's furious. They said you emptied the bank account." "Yep," I replied. "And I'm not putting a dime back in." She let out a frustrated sigh. "They're scared, Steve. They don't know how they're going to finish the repairs." "Maybe they should have thought about that before they threatened to disown my kids," I snapped. There was silence on the line. Then Amanda's voice, smaller now. "They said that?" "Yes," I answered firmly. "That's how far they're willing to go just to control me. Do you still think I should listen to them?" She didn't have an answer. Just mumbled something about talking to our parents and hung up. The next day, Chris called again. Word was spreading through the family fast. "Man, you're a legend," he laughed. "You finally stood up to them. Honestly, it's about time." And he wasn't alone. More cousins started reaching out, siding with me, disgusted by how toxic my parents had become. For once, I didn't feel completely alone in this mess. But not everyone agreed. Some of the older relatives, especially the ones who relied on my parents for favors, started turning on me. I even got a passive-aggressive text from Aunt Carol saying I was tearing the family apart and needed to make peace for the sake of the children. The irony almost made me laugh. Funny how no one cared about my children's feelings on Christmas morning. By now, it wasn't just a family feud anymore. It was a civil war. And I wasn't backing down. The tension finally snapped the night I got a voicemail from my dad. His voice was low, growling, every word dripping with venom. "You've done enough damage, Steve," he snarled. "You think you're going to make us suffer? We'll see how you like it when the whole family knows what kind of man you are. You're selfish. You're ungrateful. And you'll regret this for the rest of your life." Click. End of message. I sat there, phone in my hand, listening to it again. Once. Twice. Shaking my head. Same old guilt trips. Same old manipulation. Only now, it wasn't just aimed at me, it was aimed at my kids too. And I wasn't going to play along anymore. But of course, it escalated. The very next day, Jenna's phone started buzzing nonstop. Text after text from Amanda and the relatives who'd taken my parents' side. Apparently, Dad had been on the phone all morning, spinning the story his way. In his version, I had cruelly abandoned them, left them in financial ruin, and stolen money that was meant for family support. Conveniently, he left out the part where they humiliated my children on Christmas morning. Conveniently, he forgot to mention the threats to disown them. Jenna scrolled through the messages, sighing in frustration. "Steve, this is getting ugly. They're telling people you left them destitute." I muttered under my breath, "Let them talk. The people who know the truth will stand with us. The rest? I don't care anymore." But I did care. At least a little. Because Emma noticed. Ryan noticed. "Daddy?" Emma asked one night, her little voice trembling. "Are Grandma and Grandpa mad at us?" I pulled her into my arms. "No, honey," I whispered. "They're just having a hard time understanding things right now." It wasn't the whole truth. But how could I put that weight on her? She was 6. She deserved magic, not family politics. Meanwhile, my cousin Chris kept checking in. And this time, he had news. "Hey man," he said, "a bunch of us are talking about pitching in to help with your parents' renovations." I was stunned. "Wait, you're serious? Why on earth would you do that?" "Not for them," he clarified. "For you. We want to make sure they can't use it against you anymore. And honestly, we're tired of their games. It's not just you, Steve, they've been screwing other people too, just in smaller ways. This is us saying enough is enough." For years, I'd felt like the black sheep. The scapegoat. But now? It was clear I wasn't alone. Chris wasn't done. "Oh, and by the way, Amanda's starting to crack. I think she's realizing just how messed up this is. Give her time." I didn't hold my breath, but still, it was nice to hear. Then, 2 days later, something unexpected happened. My parents called again. This time, it wasn't anger. It wasn't demands. It was desperation. Mom left a voicemail, her voice shaky. "Steve, it's your mom. Please, can we talk? We're sorry. Things got out of hand. Your dad and we're scared. We're in over our heads. We need your help. Please call me back." I sat there, phone in my hand, stunned. Was this real? Or just another manipulation? I didn't know. And I wasn't rushing to find out. That night, Amanda texted me. "They're crying, Steve. They're scared. They don't know what they're going to do without you." I stared at the screen, torn. Part of me felt satisfaction, they'd finally realized they couldn't push me around anymore. But another part, the part that still wanted to believe in family, it twisted with guilt. Jenna saw me staring and put a hand on my shoulder. "You don't have to decide anything right now. Take your time." She was right. For now, they could stew. They created this mess. Let them sit in it. But deep down, I knew it wasn't over yet. Over the next few days, I thought hard. If I caved now, I'd be giving them more power. They'd learn nothing. And worst of all, they'd think they could hurt my kids whenever it suited them. I wasn't about to let that happen. So, I called my lawyer. Explained everything. Over the years, I'd helped manage my parents' accounts, investments, assets, even parts of the renovations. Legally, I still had rights. My lawyer confirmed it. I could revoke access, freeze contributions, cut ties completely. So I did. I closed every shared account. Froze every payment I was making. Pulled my name off every joint asset. I didn't leave them penniless, but I made sure they'd never touch another dime of mine again. To drive the point home, I sent a letter through my lawyer, officially stating that all financial support from me was terminated. The news spread like wildfire. My parents panicked, calling everyone they could to rally support. But this time, the tide had shifted. Most of the cousins, most of the extended family, they'd had enough. Even Amanda, who tried to stay loyal, started to crack when she finally admitted she knew about the threats to disown my kids. Chris called me, laughing bitterly. "They're losing respect fast, Steve. The mask is slipping." And then, something I never expected, my parents showed up at my house. It was the first time I'd seen them since Christmas. Dad looked hollow, like he hadn't slept in days. Mom wasn't angry anymore, she looked nervous, fragile. "Steve, can we please talk?" she asked quietly. I stood in the doorway. "Talk about what?" Dad swallowed hard. "We were wrong. We handled things badly. We shouldn't have said what we did. We hurt you, and your family. We're sorry." Mom's voice shook. "Please, Steve. We've lost control of everything. We can't finish the renovations. The family's turning against us. We need you." I crossed my arms. "Now you need me? After years of treating me like a second-class son? After making my kids cry on Christmas? After threatening to cut them out of the family, they winced. No excuses this time. Just silence. We were wrong, Mom whispered again. We're asking for forgiveness. I shook my head. No. You're not sorry for what you did. You're sorry it didn't work out. There's a difference. And honestly, it's too late. Dad's face tightened. Steve, don't do this. We're family. No, I said firmly. Family doesn't treat each other the way you've treated me. I'm done being your puppet. From now on, you handle your own problems. And as for forgiveness? You're not getting it. Not now. Not ever. And with that, I shut the door in their faces. The fallout rippled for weeks. Amanda tried to patch things up, but I couldn't trust her anymore. She'd chosen their side when it mattered most. Some relatives who had backed my parents fell silent, finally realizing how toxic it all was. Others, like Aunt Carol, stayed loyal, but I didn't care. The divide was final. I turned my focus to Jenna, Emma, and Ryan. My real family. We started building our own traditions, ones untouched by manipulation or guilt. One afternoon, I watched Emma and Ryan laughing on the swings at the park, their joy pure and unburdened. For the first time in a long time, I felt peace. Chris said it best when we spoke later. You did the right thing, man. Sometimes cutting people off is the only way to protect your peace. Your kids deserve a better legacy than the one your parents tried to hand you. And he was right. My parents had made their bed. Now they had to lie in it. The war was over. And this time, I had won.